All right, Perry. So we talked about increasing our opt-ins. We talked about increasing our open rate. Now let's talk about the third part of this whole sneaky email marketing equation, which is getting the click-through rate up. So
It's all for naught if we don't get that in there.
yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. So sneaky email marketing trick number 11, you have aptly and pervertedly coined avoid premature marketation. And this is all Perry, so I'm gonna let you take over for that.
I sort of added that in when you weren't looking.
This right here, this is what we're laughing about. Thank you for that one, buddy.
You're welcome. I'm taking care of you. That's what I do. Now, one of the big mistakes I see people make in email marketing messages is, and I guess the easiest way to explain it, emails are sort of like classified ads. And back in the old days, I read a lot about classified ads and direct mail because I did some of that in the past. And they always warned you, the one thing they warned you about a classified ad is, a classified ad can't do heavy lifting. It can't sell the product for you. And that's the same thing is true with an email. The email is not designed to sell your product. It's designed on selling people to click, period. That's its whole job. You don't need to go into how great your product is, the benefits of your product, all that crap. Nobody wants to know that yet. You need to leave that vague. You need to leave it open. You need to show a benefit. You need to tell me when I open your email, why should I click on this blue link? Yep. That's all I want or need to know. So I see so many people just totally screw this up. And I teach this in social media too. If you're a Twitter person or a Facebook person, the same thing applies. People go, hey, I got a message for you. Buy this from me. Buy this from me right now. I'm selling you this. Buy this. Man, you just can't do that right away. You will just blow people completely out of the water. And there's one blue link that they'll always click. It's the one at the bottom of your email that says unsubscribe.
Yeah.
You'll run. Not only will you get lousy results, you'll see those people that you worked so hard to get to join your list begin to just disappear and fall away.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have absolutely found that as we shortened our emails, because we used to write really, really long. You know, I mean, we're long copy people. We write long copy sales letters, so we would write long copy emails. And back, you know, we reference back in the good old days, so to speak. Back then, it worked better than it did because people had more patience. You know, they didn't have as many emails. If you kind of had some content in there and made it interesting, they might actually read the whole dang thing. It just doesn't happen anymore. They're not gonna do it. And with email, with spam filters being what they are, less is more. The less you got in there, the better chance that you're actually gonna get through.
Remember this. Remember this rule. It's been all the way through this product or through this training. That you just remember always in your head, above the fold, above the fold, above the fold. If you've got 3 links in your email, make sure that all 3 links appear above the fold.
Well, you can
they
see
do
this,
in this email.
Yeah,
but
this
just,
right here was taken.
Off.
This right here was taken, and this isn't the entire thing. A little bit more of this would be viewable above the fold, but you can see just by glancing at this email, I can see the beginning and the end. So I know just by glancing, without having to scroll, that there's a light at the end of this. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for this email. People who write these, if I open, you think about it, you probably do this too. If you get an email from somebody, it almost doesn't matter who it is. It could be from your mom, right? You get an email from mom and it goes on forever. You're probably going to click the back button and be like, whoa, mom, I'll get to that one later when I got more time. Well, when does later happen? It's a time called never. Later never comes back around, especially now if you're mom. Hopefully you'll eventually get to mom. But later is never going to come back around for you as a marketer. You need to get them. They're reading right now. They've opened it right now. You need to, like Perry said, get to the point, have them click on that link, and then move them over to a page where you got more room, you got more space, you got more assets like video and audio and all this stuff that we talked about.
In an email,
before.
longer equals confusion too.
Yeah.
You know, because chances are, if you're talking for a long time, you're bouncing around between 2 or 3 different points. I mean, your idea here is make a singular point with a singular call to action.
Yeah, and I mean, you should only have one singular point anyway because you've only got one subject line. And the email should be about the subject line. So just do that. Keep it short. Keep it sweet. Keep it to the point. Remember me in that because I am short and sweet. And yeah, there you go.
Half that's right.
All right, sneaky email marketing trick number 12, link planting. This is something that I've heard almost nobody talk about, but it is crucially important, which is how many links should I have and where should they be? We've actually done a fair bit of testing on this to figure out the optimum number of links and the optimum placement for it. And here's what we found, all right? You want to have one link. You want to have, ideally, and again, I'm gonna tell you that the ideal number of links is 3. Does that mean if you have 2 that it's gonna fail miserably, or if you have 4 that it's not gonna work? Absolutely not. I mean, this is if you only have 1, it's probably not enough, and if you got more than 3, you probably have too many. Your email's probably going too long. 3 seems to be the sweet spot, because what you can do, and you can see in this case we're using an image in the email, which we'll talk about in just a second. I know. But you can see we got a link at the top. This image right here is clickable. So that's 1, and that is in the intro. All right? So right in the beginning, you don't want to have them go more than 2 paragraphs at most if they're short. Preferably after that very, very first paragraph, boom, there's a link. You want that action there quickly. Then down in the body, you'll have another one for people who read, and then you want to have one down at the end to close. So for the people who scroll all the way to the bottom, which a lot of people do, just like they do emails, they scroll down the bottom, they read the PS, and there's another link for them to go. Now, I want to, I'll get to that. Do you have any other comments you want to make about this?
Now, I would just, one thing I'd say that the first, you said right in the first paragraph, typically speaking, for most of the emails that I've seen that tested the best, the first paragraph is a single line.
Yeah.
It's usually one single sentence. It may go on to 2 lines like this one, but it's still one single sentence, and you should have an immediate call to action right after that. That sentence needs to make your whole point, basically. And then in structure and body, usually you may throw out a benefit or 2. Not a benefit or 2 of the product, but a benefit or 2 for clicking the link.
Yeah, this
That's
you
what
see
you're
this
selling.
one. The subject line: 7 deadly SEO mistakes. Free report. And then the first line is, how many of these SEO mistakes are you making? Watch this 5-minute video to find out. So for somebody who's interested in online marketing or search engine optimization, they're going to want to know, whoa, okay, so there's these mistakes. I want to make sure I'm not making them. The benefit is clear. Watch this video to find out. Now,
and the power of the PS, if you can talk about that a little bit. That'd be great.
Well, the PS is just, they get read. I mean, and anytime there's a particular part of the page that gets read, you're crazy if you don't maximize that area. So, I mean, with rare exception, every email that we send out has a PS. Occasionally, we won't do it. Usually that means, just full disclosure, we were lazy. We couldn't think of anything. Or it means that the email was so short. A lot of times we'll just send out a quick, really, really quick, snappy email that it's only 2 or 3 paragraphs long anyway. You don't really need a PS because it's all just so tight there. But 99% of the time, if we're sending out an email, it's got a PS because people read PSs. It's a great place to restate your value proposition and have a good, strong call to action to get them to click through.
If you can get an image and a link in an email, it's really awesome. A clickable image and a clickable link in the email, it's awesome because some people are drawn to images, some people are drawn to links. You get to have dual modality there and attract people who like different things. Images get clicked on way more than people think they do. Even if you don't tell people they're clickable, they do get clicked on.
Which is why you need to make every single image that you have in your emails, you want to make them clickable.
Absolutely.
Because they will click on them.
Because they're going to try to click them even if they're dead. They'll click. We watch them in videos. Click, trying to click those things. But, one of the results that we found from 3 links, and I've done this for years, with 3 links, you won't typically triple the response of 1 link, but you usually will double the response of 1 link in an email.
Yeah. Now, I will, we put this in as an example, one, because I wanted to show you what not to do. I almost put in a perfect example, but I'd rather show you one where we did some things wrong so that I can show you what not to do when it comes to your link placement. And that is, you can see here that it says, the link is get your free 7 deadly SEO mistakes report. So the link is words. That is okay if in addition to that, you also have a real live link. In other words, the http:// www, .whatever.com. People want to see that. They expect links to be a link. They expect it to be a URL. They expect it to be http:// whatever.
They kind of want to know where they're going.
Yeah, and they want to know where they're going. Whenever you think about if you're going to send a link to your buddy, you would not go through the trouble of saying, hey Harold, I found this great article for you, and then the link is click here now to read an awesome article about dog training, and have that text linkable. You would just type in the page or copy and paste the page and send it off. So that's what people are used to seeing. Whenever you do what we did here, and this was, we were just testing different stuff, but whenever you do what we did here, it instantly looks like marketing. It instantly looks like advertising. It doesn't feel right. And even if people don't notice it, we just don't get as good a response as when we have the HTTP. So forget this anchor text stuff. Forget having those things. Just put the dang link in there. So that's kind of the big mistake that was made here that I want to point out so that you don't make it. All right, now this final sneaky email marketing trick number 13. This is kind of our biggest thing, and really we probably should have led with this because this has had one of the biggest impacts. And if you're on our list, you've probably seen us doing this a lot more lately.
And if you talk about this after you watch this, we will kill you. We'll hunt you down.
Yeah, you can use it, but don't. This is not something that we tell to a lot of people. And it's because it works, but if everybody starts using it, the effectiveness is going to decline. But basically, it's if you're sending people to a web page that has a video on it, which most of the time it seems we're sending people to web pages that have videos on them, include a screenshot of that video in the email.
It's just a picture. It's just an image.
Yeah, it's not a video embedded in the email. I wouldn't even know how to do it, and it's probably not a good idea. So it's just an image that you make clickable. But you can see here when you do this, all right, the benefit that you get from this is people see this play button right here. All right, you see the play button and it looks, you got the player down here. So it looks like they should be able to view a video. And just the novelty of, oh, this is interesting. Can I watch a video in my email? They click on the play button, but since it's actually an image, what does it do? It sends them over to the actual web page that has that video on it. Now, here's the key. As long as the video that they click on here, as long as they get sent to that same video over here, nobody ever minds. Nobody feels deceived like, oh, you had an image of a video in your email and it didn't actually play from there. Again, it's all about congruency. Is your email congruent with where you're sending them? So if they click the play button over here in the email and they get taken over to a page where the video that they just clicked on starts playing, that's perfectly congruent. Perfectly congruent. But you don't want to have a video in here and then send them to a page that doesn't have a video. Or you don't want to have a video in here that sends them to a page where the video is tucked down in below the fold. You really want that video to be above the fold so that they see it. Another thing, when you're doing these videos, you also want to have a link immediately below the video. This was another mistake that we made on the previous slide.
Also, you'll notice the links here. I think on the last Google, the last one we pulled up, and maybe sometimes Google changes colors. If you can control it, you always want those links to be reflex blue. It's called a reflex blue color. It's the standard blue linking color. They get clicked on considerably more than any other color does.
Yeah. Now you can see this is an HTML email. We send out all of our emails, both HTML and text, but most people can view HTML without any problem. And HTML is what allows us to put in these images. So if you're only sending out text-based emails, we probably should have said this from the beginning, but a lot of people said for years, only send out text, forget HTML. HTML doesn't get delivered. HTML is doing great right now. We're getting far, far higher click-through rates by switching to and you can see this isn't a super fancy. There's not images all over the place. It looks for the most part like a text mail. There's a little bit of bolding in here, but that's all right. That's normal. And there's an image.
One thing that we have tested that's given us a slightly better positive result with this is the video on here was shrunk. The image of the video was shrunk down pretty small. When we actually send out the video now in the full size that you see as in a YouTube embed or a YouTube player, which I think is 465 wide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually pulls better. It pulls a little bit better. It's not a huge difference. It pulls a little bit better.
It winds up pushing a lot of your message below the fold, but the power of that video.
A lot of times it's just a lot of times in marketing, do what people are used to. That'll usually serve you well. If we have to test something, if people are used to watching YouTube videos 465 by 350, then put your YouTube video in 465 by 350. Don't try to be creative in design. You want people do what they're used to doing.
Yeah, we thrive on familiarity. It's one of the ways, that we keep from getting killed. I mean, it's what we as humans, we like familiarity. We like associating with people like it. We like, it's built into us.
This, by the way, this only increases click through rate by about double.
Yeah.
On most of the things that
when we tested this,
and again, like Ryan said, that's probably going to slip over time as more and more people use this. And but it only increases click through rate by about double.
And again, if you're in a niche market, like we're in a lot of niche markets,
it's never gonna go away.
It's never, people are never going to figure this out. But I mean, I'll tell you, in the Forex market, where we send out an email every single day with picks, the inclusion of a video of the email that goes out and a doubling of the response, it was huge. I mean, it made a huge, huge difference in sales and conversions and just the amount of money we're making. So this is one of those things. It's so incredibly simple to implement. I mean, even if you're doing an affiliate promotion and sending traffic to somebody else's site, get Snagit, download Snagit, go over to the person's site where you're sending it, take a quick screenshot of the video. With the key is, and I'll go ahead and erase all this stuff so you can see it. The key is to make sure that the play button is in the video, is in the screenshot of the video. So you want to make sure that it's paused whenever you start playing it, because if the video is playing when you take the screenshot, especially if it's a YouTube video, that play button won't be there. You want that play button there. But take the screenshot, drop it in your video, drop the image in your email, and make that image clickable. And I mean, if you just do this one thing, it's so simple to do. It's gonna, it's gonna more than, trust me, it's gonna more than pay for your investment in this training many, many, many times over. Real quick before we move on to
it's about how many notes have there been now?
There's been a lot of them. But real quick, just to kind of as a review, you can see the subject line. There's some odd numbers, and there we also use the bracketed video at the end, which we did get a bump.
We always use that, or vid or video, when we're going to put this embedded video pick in.
Yeah, it just consistently gave us a bump, so until we see that change, we're going to keep using it. Okay, now we said that there were only 13, but we're over-delivering here. There's actually a 14th sneaky email marketing trick. It's just, frankly, 14.
It's what not to do.
Yeah, well, yeah. But 14 sneaky email marketing tricks just didn't sound as good as 13. So rather than take one away, we're going to give it to you and as a little bonus. So your bonus 14th sneaky email marketing trick is to depersonalize your email marketing. That's right, depersonalize your email marketing. And Perry, why don't you talk about that, because it sounds somewhat counterintuitive.
Yeah, this is something that we have tested extensively and have, I think, really what we feel is really solid data on, although it kind of flies in the face of what worked as well not too long ago. We've taken out any other fields other than asking somebody for their email address when we have an opt-in form. We have a squeeze page or any form of opt-in. We only ask for email address now. We don't ask for a first name, last name.
Yeah, you can see there's no name field here.
We only ask for that, and this actually doesn't fit in. This fits in two different categories. Here's why. Number one, when you're actually gathering the email addresses, we've seen a considerable increase. It's not a gigantic increase, but we've seen a considerable increase. I think of like over 10%, 10-15%. More people are willing to give their email address versus giving their name and email address. The more fields that you add to the actual form, the more it's going to hinder your response to that particular form. So, and also on the flip side of that, we found that the mails that we were sending out for a long time that were like, Dear Perry, Dear Ryan, Dear whatever, or Hey Perry, or whatever, were not getting as good of open rates as they were when we were more creative with our headlines and sent out something that was a little more effective. And I think for a lot of reasons, a lot of people felt like if they put, Hey Ryan in there, then whatever they put after that, it really didn't matter. That's going to grab his attention. He's going to click on it. It just got to be it makes you kind of naturally lazy with how well you write headlines, number one. Number two, everybody was doing it. You don't want somebody walking up to you on the street that you met once at a party 5 years ago and hugging your neck and telling you, Hey Perry, it's been so long I haven't seen you. You don't really know these people on a first name basis, and that sounds kind of crazy that people use that phrase all the time. Well, I don't know them on a first name basis, but anymore. Still in our society, we still hold on to that. If I don't know you by a first name basis, I don't really want to.
Yeah, probably
You
don't
know?
deserve. And it really it is kind of disingenuous. I mean,
yeah, it really
and,
is.
and every now and then you mess up, and the little token, the little first name token,
Yeah.
you mess up and you
Hey,
broadcast.
bracket first name.
Yeah, you mess up and
and you look like a real schmo.
yeah,
man.
and you totally you've crushed the effectiveness of that email, and you can apologize and try to resend it, but the damage is done. And either way, it's just a waste of space. I mean, it doesn't need to be there. We saw no bump by having it. We got a bump from our opt-in rate by taking it away, and really, it's more genuine. I mean, you
The
look
net
at this
effect makes
email,
us more money.
you look at this email, I backtracked a couple slides, but you can see you got the subject line, why pay Google, whatever, and I jump right in. My buddy Perry Belcher figured out a way to partner with Google. So, I mean, it jumps right in. It's right there. There's no, hey, so-and-so, because it doesn't really make sense. You kind of lose a little bit of the momentum by doing that, and it's disingenuous. And if somebody puts in, a stupid name, I mean, we had somebody who thought they were being cute one time and put a curse word in as their first name, and so of course when we sent out an email, it was like, hey, not nice name, and they took offense to that, and we had to explain to them, we're not calling you that. That's what you entered into the database. It's garbage in, garbage out. But that's the kind of stuff that can happen. So we have actually had better success, both like we said, from an initial opt-in perspective and from an ongoing, just being true to our customers. And our subscribers by depersonalizing
and you think
the
about
name, the first name field.
15-20% is the difference between a promotion like this having 10,000 leads and having 11, 12,000 leads. It really makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I would always rather have that extra 10, 15, 20% of people to market to.
Yep, exactly. So,
we want to recap a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it, the 14 sneaky email marketing tricks. We promised you 13, we gave you 14. And what we got on this last slide is just a little checklist that whenever you're going through and you're setting up your email campaigns or sending out a broadcast, run it through this checklist. Make sure, in the first few, deal with the opt-in page. So when you're building an opt-in page, get those on there. And whenever you're sending out the email, go through the other ones. Don't forget this last one, by the way.
We forgot a biggie.
Click
yeah,
send.
That hit you at the same time it hit me, I think. You want to touch on that now, or you want to touch on the end?
Go ahead.
This is one of the big, if you want to, here's a way to magically double, triple, or quadruple the amount of money that you make on emails. Send more emails.
Yep.
We're in a mastermind group with a group of multimillionaire internet marketers. Every single one of them has told us consistently, when I started mailing my list every single day, my income went up multifold. The more you mail your people versus the less is actually better, as long as you're giving them content, valuable, useful content, okay? Useful resources, useful tips, whatever you're giving them, as long as you're developing that relationship on a daily basis. I mean, who are you the best friends with? The person you talk to every single day, or the person you talk to once a month or once a year? I mean, there's no doubt about it. And if somebody, if anymore, if you wait 2, 3, 4 weeks to mail somebody, they may forget they're on your list, unsubscribe from you, they don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. The minimum, the absolute minimum that you should email your list is once a week. And really, that's not enough. I don't care what market you're in. I mean, in the Forex market, we email our list at least once a day. There are plenty of days where we email them twice a day.
We have a good friend in the dating market that mails his people on his list. He's got a huge list of people. He mails them every single day, 2 emails a day. He writes 1 email from his autoresponder series, and he writes 1 email that's timely, that attaches to something in the news that day. Every single day is a morning and an afternoon email, and it just rocks for him, and he wouldn't do it any other way. So sticking on that same point, if an email works, it will work again.
Yeah.
Save those control pieces. If you get an email that got a high click-through rate, these are in the marketing business, we call those controls, and controls equal gold. I mean, you don't ever get rid of a good control, because a month from now you can mail it again to your list, and 1% of the people are going to remember they got it the first time.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll go back and evaluate all the emails that we sent out the previous 30 days, because that gave plenty of time for everybody who was going to click on it to click on it, everybody who was going to open it to open it. And we'll go and we'll look and we'll say, okay, what emails last month performed particularly well? And you know what? Chances are good that we'll probably send them again this month. And we may send it again the next month. And we have emails literally, and you may have already noticed this. And the funny thing is most people don't notice it. But we have emails that we've been blasting out to our list, broadcast emails we've been blasting out to our list every single month for over a year because they just work. Every single time we send these emails, they make us money. And they're just a stable of emails that we can send out. And most people, because, you don't, I wish you did, and hopefully you do, but it's rare that you're going to open every single email or notice every single email that comes from somebody. And remember that, oh, that's similar to one that I saw before. And even if you do, it's
So
no big
what?
deal.
Yeah.
People don't get offended. People don't
You're not
say,
sending it to them every day.
yeah.
I
mean, so they get the same email at most 12 times a year.
You're going to notice by watching your stats, it's real easy, like you see in the AWeber account before, to track your stats. If you start sending out mails to people every single day, you're going to notice at the end of a year or 6 months or 2 months or 3 months that you have some standouts. You're going to have some things that really get high CTRs. You're going to have some things that get really high open rates. And not only you need to save those and send them again, you really need to analyze those and start looking at what am I doing right here. What am I doing right here on my open rates? What am I doing right here? And you'll start to find out what's resonating with your audience when you go back and look at your winners. So many people send an email, it's gone, then they're like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to write about tomorrow. And they never look back at that list ever again. That's just the stupidest thing. You gotta be a special kind of stupid not to go back and look at that, at your winners, because those are the things that eventually will be your business.
Yeah, you've already done the work, and they've either proven themselves or they haven't. So, I mean, it's just crazy not to, especially whenever you've got new people coming onto your list every day. So, yeah, keep all those things in mind. But I'm begging you, please, use this checklist. If you just use a couple of the things on here, if you pick one of the things from the first part where we talked about increasing your opt-ins, if you pick one of the things from the second part where we talked about increasing your opens, and one of the things from the third part where we talked about increasing your click-through rates, just one from each of those sections, you could easily see a doubling of sales because of the multiplication effect of implementing, three things across, getting improvement in three different areas. I mean, it can absolutely happen. If you implement multiple ones, then hopefully you'll see even more than that. But
The dynamic effect is phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you're sit down, when you finish this training, take a piece of paper and say, just write out, if I double the amount of leads I get every day, and I double the amount of opt-ins I get every day, and I double the amount of clicks every day, it does not double your business. It grows your business in far greater multiples. Just do the math.
Yeah, well, none of us we're not mathematicians here, so we're not going to go out there and say what it actually does. But it's big, and it's definitely bigger than double.
$1 bazillion.
Yeah. So with that, take this checklist, use it, and start checking some things off. Like we said, click send and click send a lot. There's no reason not to. Your people will thank you for it as long as you're sending them out good stuff. So, Perry, you got any final words?
Nothing at all, Ryan. Thanks so much for being on the training today. It was awesome. I think we've, I've learned and taught. It's been great.
Yep. All right. Thanks so much. Implement. If you get good value from this, if you get good results from this, please let us know. Send us an email, shoot us a testimonial. We'd love to hear how it's all working out for you. So, thanks so much.